Austin Butler to star in the new Elvis biopic by Baz Luhrmann. That coming up next on MBE Movie News. And John, we were talking about this last week. There was a few names bandied about in regards to who would be cast to play the King of Rock and Roll. As according to Variety, it's Austin Butler.
Yes, Stephen, we obviously went through, I think, a list of 5 potential names which were on the shortlist.
Yeah.
And by all accounts, I think we both went for this chap, Austin Butler. I think it was a toss-up between him and obviously, was it Miles Teller?
Miles Teller,
was the other name, and I think I says that I would like to see either Miles Teller or Austin Butler. I can perhaps go back and check it and just confirm whether that's what I said, but pretty sure my exact words were, this guy looks like he's got the likeness down. He's got the hair down. Certainly in this photograph they've used on Variety, he looks like the son of Elvis Presley. But what we did say was, can he sing? Does he have the mannerisms? Can he do the whole performance of Elvis Presley? And this will really only be an issue, Stephen, once we really get an idea of what the feel is that Baz Luhrmann's going for in this movie. Is it going to be a traditional musical in the same vein as obviously Rocketman, or will it be more akin to Bohemian Rhapsody, where perhaps you can get away with not being able to sing, you can perhaps utilise ad-libbing vocals from someone else who's not involved in the actual filming side of things, like they did with Rami Malek and Bohemian Rhapsody. He didn't sing, I don't think, anyway. They got some other chap in, whose name eludes me at the moment, but he did the overdubbing of, I think, the original Queen song. So that might not be as much of an issue in the actual singing, but certainly in terms of looks, this chap looks as though he's got the likeness down. I'm happy about this, Stephen. I'm excited about this movie now. I was excited when I heard. I wasn't aware until last week that we were actually doing an Elvis movie, a biopic. So I'm very excited and I'm on board for this sort of a renaissance of musical films about classic artists from the 60s, 70s.
The other thing that I took from this article, John, is that Tom Hanks has been cast as Tom Parker, whatever you call him, the manager of Elvis.
Tom Hanks is in the movie.
I think that's an amazing casting choice. Also, I think, John, the time period as well is very important. Like you said, Rocketman it went kind of through quite a few years. It wasn't in sequential order or anything like that. Bohemian Rhapsody as well was a certain time period of screen as well. So I think this is going to take the same kind of road. I don't think we're going to see obviously Austin Butler playing a very old Elvis. So I think it's going to be very interesting. Whether it'll be pre-Army or not, I don't know. I think it will be. A lot of people think that was his best period. So I'm very excited because I think it's very important. This especially now. The last one I saw was the Kurt Russell one from years and years ago. I still can't believe Kurt Russell played Elvis. I missed that. Very good as well. And as you know, Steve, now I'm borderline infatuated with Kurt Russell as an actor. So how the hell did that one elude me? That's something I have to address. We did talk about last week that they were going to be covering the sort of younger years of Elvis, and that was going to rule out the likes of Kurt Russell and Bruce Campbell. I think the other name was, John, if I recall correctly. But I'm on board. I don't know too much about this chap, Austin Butler, but just from obviously the what we've seen, in his physical form, he does. I think he matches Elvis quite well. In regards to singing, I don't think that will really matter because they didn't really worry about that for Bohemian Rhapsody. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, Stephen, I'm just excited again because of the chap who's involved in directing, Baz Luhrmann. This is a guy who's frequented the musical genre time and again over the years. Obviously involved in Moulin Rouge, most famously. The Great Gatsby, which did have, I'm pretty damn sure, his version anyway. I'm not sure if that's the same one with Leonardo DiCaprio. It was, that had musical elements in it as well. So this guy knows the genre very, very well. So I'm excited. He was also involved in Romeo and Juliet, and that was a terrific sort of a retelling adaptation, if you'd like, of that story. So this guy is just an esteemed and well-respected filmmaker. So the fact that he's got his hands on this, and perhaps it's not someone else like a Bryan Singer or whatever who's got nefarious backgrounds and who'll perhaps destroy the box office potential, that's another positive for me. Austin Butler, can't lie, I don't know much about the chap. He is an up-and-coming actor, albeit he has 32 things on his filmography, so he's certainly been around since 2007. Started in Hannah Montana, which again I presume has musical elements.
Yeah.
So perhaps he can sing, Stephen. I'm not too sure, but I'm excited for it, as I did say. I'm really excited that Tom Hanks is also on board for this, playing, as you did say, Tom Parker, Colonel Tom Parker.
Yeah.
He may have to get a fat suit on for that, because Tom is looking very dapper in his older age. The man's aged splendidly.
I don't think it would be a problem, John.
No,
because,
I think he could do the what do you call him, Gary
Oldman, yeah, with Churchill, yeah.
Yeah,
I think it would work.
Yeah, I think it would work, and the guy's got the acting chops. So, Stephen, the fact that they have brought Tom Hanks on again, I think this alludes to the fact it will be more of a Bohemian Rhapsody set up than a Rocketman.
Yeah.
More of a biopic, and it does say it, biopic, so more of a biopic with sprinklings of musical elements, just to help it along its merry way.
I think Elton John's story works that way because he was very flamboyant. He's a very loud character, whereas Elvis was more straight rock and roll down the line, you know.
Certainly in the early years.
Certainly had that Schaal, you know, that was very controversial in its day, but nothing like the way, you know, Elton John portrayed himself. But I'm looking forward to it, John.
Absolutely.
I'm sure we'll get more news as the months roll merrily forward, but we'll move on to our next article, and this is to do with John Krasinski's Quiet Place 2. He's celebrating the start of the film with a behind-the-scenes photo, which I think he posted on Twitter, I'm pretty sure.
He did.
And it's a clapperboard, which basically just says Part 2, directed by John Krasinski, and he's just hashtagged it Part 2. So it's very simple, but it's just to show, you know, people who are fans of the first film, that production that has begun on this film. I'm looking forward to it. I very much enjoyed the first film. It's good to see that they've got you know, the cast back in place, you know, some of the original actors, and we're also getting the likes of Brian Tyree Henry, and obviously Cillian Murphy is going to be in there as well, which I'm very excited about. I'm a big fan of Cillian Murphy. Yeah,
Stephen, the only other thing that I can really see is the fact it's 40mm. I don't think that really makes much difference, though. It's not like 35 or whatever. No. But I mean, it's a cool little photograph, first things first. The fact is it's roll one, scene one, take one. It's obviously the beginning of principal photography itself. And obviously John Krasinski stepping back into the helm as the director obviously of the film. Yeah. That makes no sense to me, stepping into the helm, but you know what I mean. He obviously directed the first one. I think that was his first feature film, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, Stephen. I thought it was terrific. Excellent. On just about every level, the uniqueness, the way it shook up the horror genre, did things that I never expected a horror film to really do, utilising sound. I obviously watched Hush, I believe it was, with John Gallagher Jr., I want to say his name is. Starred in 10 Cloverfield Lane, I think, the Damien Chazelle movie. That utilised a similar concept. It was a deaf person and they cut out the sound. But this was on a scale I'd never seen. And
there was a Sandra Bullock one as well. That, I think it was to do with Sight, wasn't it? I can't remember. That was a Netflix one that came out at the start of the year. I can't remember it off the top of my head what that was called. But it has inspired, you know, a sort of...
it was Bird Box.
That was it. Bird Box, you know, a re-emergence of this genre, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's good to see that they've got some of the original cast members back as well. Well, they had to, you know, obviously, you know, for it to make sense. It would have been very detached if they didn't. But to have those, you know, actors on board as well is very exciting.
Yeah, Stephen, as I did say, just the fact that he's coming back, the guy's shown that he's a very capable director. He had great chemistry with, obviously, Emily Blunt, his wife in real life, in the movie. He sadly isn't going to be in the movie. The second one, that is, because he did die, saving his family. Sorry if you haven't seen it, that is a massive spoiler, but I'm sure that chemistry will be palpable from obviously the directing of the movie onto the cast.
Yeah, definitely.
The fact we have Millicent, I think it is, Simmons, is that the little girl's name? Maybe wrong. She, I think, is actually deaf in real life, so again, just the concept of taking this deaf child in a world where you can't make any sound, it was a fantastic little side arc plot, and it added so much menace to the premise. I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. I can't wait to see this movie. The fact they have added Cillian Murphy into the mix, one of my favourite actors, Stephen. I say time and again, guy's completely underrated as an actor. I don't think he gets the credit he deserves. I thoroughly enjoyed watching, what the hell's that called? It's totally left my mind. The one about Birmingham and the knife gangs, the razor gangs. Fantastic. Peaky Blinders. Fantastic TV show, and he helms that beautifully. And he can tackle any genre magnificently. Him coming in, I'll be very intrigued to see what his role is going to be in this movie going forward. Perhaps he will step into sort of a mentoring father figure and help Emily Blunt's character and her family out of the danger. Because as we do, I mean, I don't know how they're going to do it, Stephen. First things first. Is it going to be a time jump, or will they set the movie up directly after the events of the first movie, where they're in that basement, waiting and all these horrendous alien creatures rushing towards them? perhaps if it starts with that, then it is starting with a bang.
Yeah.
But I'm well on board for it. I cannot wait to see it. It grossed an insane amount of money. $340 million, the original, off of a $17 million budget.
Fantastic.
So they will have plenty of scope to take this and expand out on it, and maybe do some other cool little tricks. I'm sure the studio will trust John and Emily and the gang going forward.
I think so, John, and we'll have to wait till 2020 to see the sequel, but I'm very much looking forward to it myself. We'll move on to our next article. It's a bit of casting news for Bill and Ted 3. It rounds out its cast with Kristen, Schaal and Holland Taylor, John. Now this is very interesting because we're starting to get a bigger picture of how this third instalment of the Bill and Ted franchise is going to play out, with some of the names that are already on board. William Sadler certainly stands out for me. We know him as Haywood in Shawshank Redemption. He was obviously the villain in Die Hard 2, I think it was, as well. Played the President in Iron Man 3, I think it was. So a well-known face there, but these two added on as well is very exciting. This is any kind of information for this film coming out is I appreciate it, because I never thought they were going to make another one. Very much when they did the Dumb and Dumber Part 2 film as well. Just getting any information. Hopefully it's more successful in that film. But
I was about to say that.
I think it will be, because I think when you look, the likes of Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves, who are very good friends as well, you're really, geared up for this film. I think their type of humour as well works in this sort of comedy genre as well. It's going to be very interesting to see where they go with the story. It's been a long time. It's been a long time since I actually saw the Part 1, Part 2. I think it was maybe the early 90s Part 2 came out. So it's been a very long time, and to have these two cast members on board, I think it's is it Kristen Schaal? It's in the photograph. She's done a bit of voice work as well, hasn't she? Trixie in
Toy Story, also the blue Triceratops.
That's right.
Quite a prominent role, Stephen Outwith of the primary characters in Toy Story. Very distinctive voice. So I can't lie, Stephen, I haven't seen any of the other Bill and Ted movies. That's something that I have to address. Big fan of Keanu, like I am. I've always looked at it as perhaps being like, as I did say, Wayne's World, which I have seen. But you tell me it was a precursor to Wayne's World.
Yeah, they were out before that,
So maybe I'll have to go and give that a bash, Stephen, because I have to get into it, also for this coming out. It's the renaissance of Keanu Reeves. And just hearing the man speak about this franchise and how it's feeling for him to get back into the shoes of the character he's obviously portrayed. Getting back, I think he's really good friends with obviously his co-star in the movie. So hearing his infectious love for it has got me excited for the movie, despite the fact I haven't seen the previous two. I'm well on board for it. It seems to be something I'm repeating again and again, but I really am. I love movies, and I love this man's, obviously, as I did say, enthusiasm for filmmaking. Alex
Winter he's a bit of a strange cat as far as his careers went in acting, because he's went behind the camera, and he's did a lot of good work behind that. So it's going to be very interesting to see how he slots back into being at the forefront as well. Back in the limelight. And having that chemistry again, that's the one thing I hope they get right as well. I think they will, because I think both of them seem to be on the same level with their humour. So the key to it is obviously good writing. So that's where I think Dumb and Dumber 2 suffered a little bit. I think a lot of the humour there was a lot forced. Kind of were regurgitating a lot of the gags from the first movie. You've got that anticipation as well, which can obviously be a downfall to any sequel that's been long awaited. 20 years, I think, the gap was between Dumb and Dumber and Dumb and Dumber 2. This is a bigger gap once again. We're talking over 25, 26, 27 years now since we got the last instalment of the Bill and Ted. So bringing these experienced actors on board is a plus point. I think they've got a good cast there. So, as I said, I think it's just down to the writing.
And Stephen, it will obviously depend on how Bill and Ted 2 ended, in terms of, was it open-ended? Was it ambiguous? The direction you could take it?
As I said, I've not seen it in maybe about 25 years or something like that. It's been a long time since I've seen it.
Because Dumb and Dumber was never really a movie I felt warranted a sequel. That was set up for a sequel. I always felt that was a self-contained movie which just functioned on its own. I felt like they just tacked a sequel on purely because it came into their heads and they felt, why not? This one though, what I'm really impressed with, aside to obviously Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter, I think he says, is the assembling of these various different writers and producers. Steven Soderbergh is producing the movie, and you look at some of the movies, they say there he's one of the founding pioneers of the independent cinema movement. Erin Brockovich, Logan Lucky, Ocean's 11,
Magic
Traffic,
Mike,
Magic Mike, even Unsane, which was a fantastic movie, by the way. I really enjoyed it. A great little horror. He filmed it in an iPhone 7. So this is an ingenious chap they've got on board. You look at the writing team, Chris Matheson, he's been involved in a couple of cracking movies. You've got Dean Parasot involved with Galaxy Quest, he's directing it. Red 2, Fun with Dick and Jane. So this is a guy who's well versed with sort of a comedy genres. And he knows how to do it well. So I feel like they're assembling the right people behind the scenes. And it's been a real passion project for Keanu to get this pushing. I think he spoke about it time and again in interviews that it's been a real prolonged process. They've been trying to get it worked out, but something's always really been a roadblock and it's fell apart. Now they've finally been able to get the funding for it, and it's all going ahead. So I'm very intrigued. I'll go back and watch the first two, and then that'll perhaps whet my anticipatory juices.
I think as well, John, that Keanu Reeves' career's had a lot to do with this as well. You know, he's went on to do bigger and better things. I don't know if that's right saying that or not, but you know, look at the likes of films like Speed. Really sort of threw him into that action adventure, made him an action hero. It took him onto the Matrix franchise. It took him onto John Wick. So I can see why he's been a very busy man over the past couple of decades anyway. So I think the time's right. The key to this is obviously Keanu Reeves. Getting him on board to do it, very much like Jim Carrey, who would never do a sequel. Getting him on was the key to it. So I'm glad to see that production is moving forward. We're getting the cast now. These 2 additions is a great 2 additions to the cast as well. So I'm looking forward to it.
Face the music as well, Steve. That's the name of the movie.
Well,
apparently going to involve time travel. So
it has before, so why not? We'll move on to the next article, John. This comes in from Cinema Blend. It's Ghostbusters 2020. First cast photo of the family reveals a big Spengler hint. Now, looking at that photograph, John, I think it stands out a mile who they're referring to. Here it's the young one right at the very front there, who speculating at this point whether it will be a relative of the great Egon Spengler, played by the late great Harold Ramis, who died unfortunately in 2014. Very much like our previous article, it's a photograph we're getting this time, John. It's a little bit of news, not much there, but Jason Reitman, his dad obviously directed the original film from 1984, so keeping it in the family. It does say the family's all here in the actual tweet, so I'm looking forward to this, John. The article's kind of coming from the angle that I think it's, I don't know who the kid is at the front there, I can't get the name.
It may be the little girl from Stranger Things.
Right, okay,
I feel like it is, but it may not be. No, it isn't. It's McKenna Grace from Captain Marvel.
Well, that's fair enough.
And Stranger Things.
Yeah, but I mean, those glasses are iconic. Yes, the glasses, obviously, those big round ones that Egon wore. I'm going to pay some kind of tribute, obviously, to Mr. Ramis, which is a nice touch. But what do you make of this, John? Is this getting you excited? Because the article, apart from the photograph, is giving us a little bit more detail in regards to cast members and where the story might be going. Yeah,
well, first of all, Stephen, it is actually McKenna Grace. Stranger Things, it's Finn Wolfhard is the chap from, or Wolfhard is the chap from Stranger Things. I think he's playing her brother. And so I'm very intrigued, Stephen. That aside, I'm very intrigued. Jason Reitman, what a fantabulous head of hair the guy's got. First things first. I feel like he's a steady pair of hands for this movie, Stephen. I'm kind of a contradicting myself here, because I feel like the last time we spoke about this movie, I wasn't speaking glowingly of it, or the decision to remake it after that absolute horror show, the all-female led Melissa McCarthy one from a couple of years ago. That was a disaster. I felt like it was a franchise of ever diminishing returns, and that they perhaps should just let it die.
Yeah, I don't think the trailer did it any favours, John, to be fair, that one with the car. I don't think, that was what we wanted,
No, but all things considered, Stephen, just the fact they are doing a tribute to Harold Ramis, we did hear that it was going to be a passing of the baton movie, and that there was going to be a new generation with the older cast and crew coming back and literally perhaps handing over the baton. Harold Ramis sadly can't do that, he's not with us anymore, but it looks like they're utilising some cool aesthetic things, I should say, with perhaps his grandchild, and keeping his memory living on. So that's cool. That's got me excited. The fact they're perhaps handling this very well. They're paying homage to one of the classic characters. And then just the fact that we've got the likes of Paul Rudd stepping in.
Yeah, amazing, yeah.
Very excited by that.
Yeah.
Anything that guy connects himself to is usually pretty damn good. He's not been in many crap movies in actual fact. I can't think of any.
No.
So the fact that he's on board, he's read the script, that excites me that he has seen something in there. Perhaps a little glint of hope is popping up for this movie now. And as they do say, there's many a reason to be excited. I'm starting to get excited for it, Steve.
Paul Rudd's reveal was great as well. I think it was Twitter it was on. It was fantastic. I think it was just set outside the Ghostbusters headquarters. You heard the voice. If you're familiar with his voice, you would know who it was right away. And then he points his own. I think it was a mobile phone he was using on himself, and just to reveal that he's game to be part of this project. But it's good to see that Dan Aykroyd's going to come back. Bill Murray was obviously the key as well, coming back. Ernie Hudson obviously coming back, and Sigourney Weaver as well. So they've got the whole gang back, minus obviously Harold Ramis. But I've got a better feeling about this film than I did the 2016 Ghostbusters, which was I know some of these cast members appeared as different characters in that, and I didn't really feel that film. I don't know what they were trying to do or achieve. It kind of broke that fourth wall by having the likes of Dan Aykroyd in there playing a different character and stuff like that. It just didn't work for me. But I think they've got the right man in charge of this film as well. And I can accept any film that's going to pass the baton on, if you like, if it's done right. And I think it's going to be hopefully done right in this. And I think just by what we're getting, this information over the last few months, it does look like they are doing it right.
Final thing I'll add, Stephen, the release date, July 10th, 2020, feels like it could be, I'm not too sure what is coming out or penned in to be released at that time of the year. But it feels like it could be the perfect time for this movie with the MCU and a kind of a transition period. I don't feel like there'll be a big release in there. I don't think they ever utilise July anyway. No, they're usually like March. I don't know when
Wonder Woman's coming out at all. I don't know. That'll be a summer release, but I don't think that's a totally different thing altogether. It's not really going to have the same fan base, I wouldn't imagine. But I'm looking forward to it, John. More so than I was the 2016 one, as I said. Just get that kind of good feeling about this one, just because of who's at the helm. But we'll move on to our final article this week. It's just a little one coming in from Cinema Blend in regards to the new Predator. I take it this was the Predator that came out last year.
The Shane Black one.
Shane Black one. They wanted Arnold Schwarzenegger to cameo with a Terminator quote. Now, I don't know how you feel about this, John, because Shane Black mentions that there was a possibility of a sequel. They didn't have that in concrete. I don't think Arnold Schwarzenegger was very keen on that if this was only going to be a cameo, if it wasn't leading to anything bigger. So, as we know, if anyone's seen the film, it didn't happen. But the quote was, "Come with me if you want to live." It's a famous Terminator quote, as you know. How would you have felt about that if things went differently? There was obviously a lot of bad publicity in regards to the casting, with Shane Black, one of his former colleagues, friends. Would you have liked to have seen an Arnie cameo at the very end if there was going to be leading up to a bigger sort of sequel with Arnold Schwarzenegger coming back to play, I think it's Dutch, I think that's what his name was in Predator, I can't remember.
Might have been, yes. If it led to Arnie stepping back in to perhaps another Predator movie, was a Terminator. Good Lord, he stepped into a Terminator movie again. So that's getting absolutely tanned. So perhaps he should have refought his career path and went to the Predator instead of Terminator.
I'll wait till I see it.
Although, in fairness, Stephen, the Predator, by all accounts, wasn't lauded by the critics. I have to say, I watched it. It was just a painted-by-numbers action movie. But what it did have from Shane Black, who obviously starred, I think, he had a role in the original Predator.
The 87 one,
it was filled to the brim with lots of little Easter eggs and references to the previous movies. Like, I can't recall the exact things, but it was like, get to the chopper or something, or something along those lines.
Mac.
There was little things sprinkled in there, so this would have just been the icing on top of the cake, getting Arnie in himself to also say, come with me if you want to live. I wouldn't have been in favour of it just for a cameo for cameo's sake. But if it was to lead to something else, perhaps then yes. If the movie itself was good enough to merit a cameo or a sequel, which it wasn't, It really wasn't. It was just, as I did say, an average painted-by-numbers action movies. What they could have been doing, no Stephen DeSaff and him as the lead, instead of, I think it was Boyd Holbrook, who led the movie. He was just, didn't have a star power, didn't have a gravitas, or the physique, or the charisma, just the charisma. He didn't command the screen like Arnie commands the screen in an action movie. Even in his current day, in his age, he would have commanded that screen much more superior than a Boyd Holbrook.
And you're talking about a film from '87 that also co-starred Carol Weathers as well. Arnold obviously topped that. So yeah, you do have to have that kind of on-screen presence. You're right, John, and it would have been very interesting to see, you know, if it did go that way with a sequel, you know, but it wasn't to be. And
I can't blame Arnie for not wanting to have a little jaunt up to Canada for one day, for a half day, as they say. He's too good for that.
Yeah, he's a busy man.
Yeah, he's a busy boy. He's going over to South Africa and getting drop kicked by little pieces of shit and not even flinching. So he's a busy boy indeed.
We'll end the show in that. Just like to thank you once again for joining us today here on MB Movie News. We'll be back again tomorrow with the blog rundown.